From the High Definition Production Center of Troy University's Broadcast and Digital Network at Troy, Alabama's International University, this is Troy TrojanVision News.
Hello and welcome to Troy TrojanVision News for March 30th, 2019. I'm Paige Weeks.
And I'm Anna Kate Patterson. Thank you for joining us this evening. The Sorrell College of Business is trying to help its students get ready for the transition into the real world through a series of lectures entitled Geek Speak. The latest of the series gave students insight into running your own business. Stuart Bradley has the story.
On Thursday, the Sorrell College of Business hosted Geek Speak with guest speaker Melody Smelko. Smelko is the current CEO of Altrua Global Solutions, a marketing and advertising agency located out of Tallahassee, Florida. They primarily deal with the food industry as well as branding for 26 collegiate schools. And their biggest client is McDonald's.
We have been a nationally approved supplier with McDonald's across the country in the U.S. since 1991. And it has grown and grown and grown. And I can tell you that you have to earn the respect and the service for them every day.
In her presentation, she talked about her business, its growth, some clientele, some examples of her company's marketing, as well as positive business practices, while also understanding the importance of working with people, with the big focal point being the philosophy that the company endorses.
I think it's just being a good partner to your client. And if you call a company, you want to make sure they can take care of you or at least get you where you need to be taken care of. And yes, it can be done philosophy. It's about 90% of the job, and it's a mindset.
Altrua was among one of the fastest growing businesses of 2017. With their success and massive growth, Smelko was brought in to give business students the perspective of being in a big company from a high-up position.
Today's lecture was really unique in the fact that it talked about really positive business practices and what it takes to run a business with integrity. And I think that that's something that isn't talked about enough these days, is just running a business with humility and passion. And so it was really great to hear Mrs. Smelko talk about that.
Stuart Bradley, Troy, TrojanVision News.
The next Geek Speak will be next Tuesday at 10 a.m. in Bibb Graves, room 143.
Wednesday morning, criminal justice students and journalism students had the opportunity to participate in a mock news conference. The mock conference resulted in students responding to an active shooter on campus. What do you get when you combine criminal justice majors, journalism majors, and a fake shooting on campus? A mock press conference, of course. Wednesday morning, students from an emergency management class and an advanced reporting class teamed up to hold a mock press conference in order to prepare students for a potential real-life situation.
You know, you see press conferences on TV, and everybody's coming at you at once, and, you know, the cameras are in your face, and you're looking around and trying to answer questions the best you can, and I feel like it gave a lot more real feel.
The assignment placed students in a scenario in which journalists asked questions about an active shooter on campus and then received answers from a law enforcement spokesman.
It's a really good experience learning how to come up with questions on the fly and not be going into an interview where you already know what's going to be said.
The assignment was not only beneficial for the criminal justice students, but also for the student journalists.
I think they got some experience thinking on their feet. I think they perhaps thought in more detail about how they would cover a real-life situation.
And according to one student journalist, this kind of assignment goes to show how Troy University students from all majors can help one another.
It's what Troy is really good at. We don't just get assignments. We get assignments that actually simulate how we're going to be acting as journalists in real life.
After the conference ended, journalism students competed to write the best news story about it. The International Students Cultural Organization traditionally spends their Tuesday night meetings teaching students about various countries represented on campus.
However, last night the group shifted gears and presented a lesson the groups felt was important regardless of where a student is from. Ashley Brown has the story.
Sexual assault is an issue that has been making headlines both locally and nationally. Understanding exactly what sexual assault is and what it is not always an obvious conclusion to make. To help tackle this issue, Thursday night, the International Student Cultural Organization held a sexual assault training in Howe Hall. Students alongside faculty members were informed about sexual assault through multimedia training and group activities.
Well, today we performed sexual assault awareness training for the international students here at Troy. So we talked about what is sexual assault, what's consent, and just how to keep them safe. And it went really well, and we were really proud to be able to do this here today.
The event was a test run on the small group to see how students reacted to the information before using the presentation at the next International Student Orientation.
We performed a small orientation here today to see it in action. The students were very engaged, and I'm very pleased with how it came out, and I'm looking forward to doing it in the fall on a bigger scale.
After clearing up the gray areas concerning sexual assault, students received tips on how to stay safe, including information on who to contact if they believe they are victims of sexual assault. A member of International Students Insurance shared what she hopes students got out of the training.
Well, I hope that they understood what consent was and that they are aware of all the resources available for them on campus and nationally.
Ashley Brown, Troy, TrojanVision News.
Next week, ISCO will swap with Tea for Troy in the Thursday night slot. The meeting will be at 7 in the Hall of Honor.
Now, the latest in Trojan sports on Troy TrojanVision News.
Good evening and welcome to your TrojanVision Sports. I'm Antonio Reese. Starting things off at the ballpark, the Trojans baseball team will look to resume play against conference opponent Georgia State after the game was ended after just 3 innings due to severe weather conditions. Both teams were tied at 3 apiece in the bottom of the third when lightning in the area delayed the game and a torrential downpour ensued to call for the suspension of the matchup until 4 p.m. today. This marks game 1 of a 3-game series against the Panthers. As we move over to the track, the Trojans track and field team arrived in Gainesville earlier today to compete in the Florida Relays, where this meet will put the Trojans to the test compared to the last 2 meets, as head coach Mark Davis explains the team's need to compete at a new level.
Now we've got to step up on a bigger stage at this point and really go out there and compete hard and compete at a national level for a lot of these kids. When we were going to Sanford and South Alabama, there were lower key meets. There were fewer teams. There were I don't want to say lesser competition because we had some very, very good competition in these meets. But now there's going to be more people running faster than what we just competed against, and we just have to be ready to step up and get ready for that.
The Trojans will compete all weekend as they face off against over 100+ teams, including a number of national ranked opponents. Moving things over to the softball diamond, the Trojans softball team, who currently sits at 18-14 for the season and 4-5 in Sun Belt Conference play, will continue conference play as they make the short trip to Atlanta to face off against the Panthers of Georgia State in a weekend series. The Trojans are coming off a win against number 21 Louisiana. Assistant coach J.C. Lefelt discusses how they aren't worried about what team they're against, but the effort it takes to win.
Well, we treat every game the same. So whether we're playing a midweek against like a ranked team like Florida State, or our next midweek game against FAMU and conference series as well, we treat everyone the same, and we just think about winning every single pitch that we face.
The team will look to level out their Sun Belt record as they pitch things off at 4 p.m. and will continue playing until tomorrow's doubleheader, where first pitch is set for 12 p.m. and immediately following at 2.